The morning light hit the shop floor like a spotlight, revealing every mote of dust. Robert walked to the back, where the library unit stood. The steel sides were cold, but the work was already beginning to heat up. "Is the frame centered?" Robert asked, his voice bouncing off the metal walls. Dorothy wiped her hands on a greasy rag and stepped back, nodding toward the laser alignment tool she had set up. "Dead center, Robert. It's not going anywhere. We can start the interior shelving as soon as the team arrives." Many walked in, carrying a clipboard stacked with lists of books and local project files. "The town is starting to notice," she said, a smile forming. "I had 3 neighbors ask if we were really opening the doors by next week." "They'll be open," Robert said, stepping onto the metal frame and feeling the stability of his design. "We're not just providing a library, Minnie. We're providing a place where the truth can actually be read and not just sold." Barbara came in from the loading dock, carrying a small box. "The first round of donations just got dropped off. They're all local histories. No big corporate publishing fluff. It's exactly what you asked for." Robert took a book from the box and flipped it open. The spine was worn, and the pages were dog-eared from years of being read in living rooms across the valley. He felt a sharp jolt of nostalgia. "This is it," he whispered. "This is the radical honesty. It isn't a theory. It's a collection of real people's stories, kept together in a place that won't just fall apart when the market shifts." "What about the city grid?" Dorothy asked, leaning in. "Do we have time to split our focus between the construction and the grid?" Robert looked at the library, then back at the shop. "We have to do both," he replied firmly. "The grid gives the valley power, and the library gives the valley a memory. If we keep those 2 things honest, we win." "The girls are already handling the logistics," Minnie added. "Dorothy and Shirley have the grid specs sorted, and Virginia is finalizing the hospital's connection point." Robert felt a wave of relief that he hadn't known in years. For the first time since his corporate rise and fall, he didn't feel like he was carrying the weight entirely on his own back. "Then let's start," he said, picking up a power drill. "We have a lot of steel to bolt and a lot of stories to shelve." The shop filled with the sound of progress, the whine of drills, the clatter of tools, and the steady, rhythmic heartbeat of a family that had finally found its true purpose. Outside, the California mountains stretched for miles, a vast, quiet witness to the Towers family's work. They were building something that was not just a structure, but a testament to the fact that they were still here, and they were still rising. The first shelf was bolted into the metal wall of the folding library unit. Robert felt the vibration through the floorboards as James tightened the final structural screw. "It's as solid as a bunker," Robert said, wiping his forehead with a rag. Minnie stood in the center of the room, spinning in a slow, graceful circle. "It doesn't feel like a shipping container at all. It feels like a cathedral for the curious," she said. Virginia arrived with the first crate of donations from the hospital staff. They wanted to give more than just medical gauze. They wanted to give stories. She began to stack the volumes with a practiced, efficient rhythm. Dorothy stood by the wide front opening, watching the local children gather near the dusty trailhead. "They've never had a place within walking distance. This changes the gravity of the whole range, Dad." Robert walked to the door and looked at the horizon. The black sedan from the previous week was nowhere to be seen. The men in suits didn't know what to do with a man who billed for free. Shirley was busy mounting the new Boom Lake plaque right above the entrance. It wasn't a corporate seal, it was a signature of restitution and hope. "The logo looks right in this light," she noted. "It's not hiding behind a glass skyscraper wall." Barbara arrived with the news from the valley floor. "The county wants 3 more units by the fall." They saw the photos of the hinge and the frame. The Towers were no longer a family on the run. They were the architects of a different kind of Arizona future. Robert picked up a small, worn book of poetry and placed it on the eye-level shelf near the window. The radical honesty of their lives was now a visible, physical truth. The storm had passed, and the air was sweet with the smell of rain and iron. Minnie rested her head on Robert's sturdy shoulder. "We are the lucky ones," she whispered to the room. "We found a meaning under the orange dust." The kids began to step onto the metal threshold. The saga was a library now. The towers were open. The work was the peace.